myself away. I give myself away so you can use me.
So Vivian, if you would, how was the call for you last night? And I understand you had your husband on last night as well. So
Yes, I did. And the most interesting thing about the conversation we had afterwards was that he shared with me that he got what you were saying, and that what the gist of it was that it's a business, and if you work it, consistently, and you work it under the Bible principles, Bible-based principles that God has already laid out for us, that you can be successful in it. And you were able to bring in the Mary Kay concept and philosophy of the 10 members, and that will equal your retirement. And for him to get that and to admit it was a major, major accomplishment, because he has been church hurt so many times. And so it was like an eye-opener, and it was a move into a positive direction.
how did that make you feel?
Awesome. I'm still on a high. I just want to tell you thank you so much.
No,
I
thank you.
appreciate that.
Thank you. Here, www.asknatescott.com. Excited to be in Jacksonville, Florida, with the wonderful ladies of Mary Kay. And, I just want to give you guys a firsthand exposure to just what's taking place here in Jacksonville and what's about to permeate throughout this country and then the world. So let me start by simply introducing fabulous national Miss Andrea Newman. So Andrea, if you would, just tell them a little bit about what took place and how we got to this point.
Okay. Well, hello. My name is Andrea Newman. I'm an independent national sales director with Mary Kay. And, I simply met Nate Scott coming from the gym one day, and it was just a chance encounter. He noticed my pink Cadillac, and just we started a conversation, and he gave me a copy of his book, and I happened to read it. I was reading the book. I kept it in my car. I was at the dentist office, and in the waiting room, and I just thought, you know what, let me just read this book and see what it's all about. And as I was reading it, it just kind of opened my mind to all of the things that I wanted to share with my directors and my consultants, but I just didn't have the expertise or the right words to get it across. So here I have a book that is saying everything that I really want to say and everything that I know that they need to hear from women entrepreneurs. There's a whole nother side of what we do that we really need to be exposed to. And that was it. So that book was, it was amazing. I took it to my director's meeting, and they ate it up. I just shared just a couple of passages, and they were sold and wanted, they all wanted their own copy of the book and everything. And the rest is history. So.
Awesome. So I'm gonna walk over here, and then Andrea, I'm just gonna let you kind of facilitate like you did last night from.
Okay. So I want to know about what you guys thought about the conference call that we did with Nate Scott. What was your experience? What did you value about the call, or what was your aha moment? Who wants to share?
I love the call.
Okay.
Since I can't become a national, and I had to figure out those 7 questions he asked, and the bottom line, I need 2,400,000.
Right.
And I have 20 years to do it in.
Wow. Okay.
So that really, I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to do it now.
Right.
How did it make you feel?
It made me feel, why didn't I know this?
There you go. That's it.
I got a degree in accounting, and they don't teach that in school.
Right.
So I just love that fact that I'm never too old to learn.
That's
Never
great.
too late in life.
That's great. Anybody else? And your husband was on.
Yes,
So
he was on.
Your husband was on.
Yes.
What were their thoughts about it as men?
Well, he's retired, and he retired as a vice president, and he figured that he shouldn't have retired as early as he did after listening to your call.
Wow. Something. Frida?
So he was really impressed.
When my husband, it was traveling back from Ocala, and I had it on the speaker in the car, so he didn't have a choice but to listen.
All right.
Okay, and but when I was resigned from Blue Cross. I did have a pension, and I did have a 401k. And sharing, and as you were saying, regardless of how much I have in my 401k, I would never, I mean, it wasn't even looking good after my years there, and you know, so it wasn't growing. So based on the number, the 7 principles that you, and I was writing, he was driving, I was writing, taking notes, and put down how much I have and what I anticipated having. And I did, my goal also at this time is to have 10,000 a month. Okay, so those numbers was like, okay. And after the call was over, my husband, we talked, and he told me, whatever I have to do it. You know, and National Bound is where I have to work towards getting to. So when retirement comes, it is continued. So I do have years to go to make it happen within my 5 years, working towards it, you know, pushing 3 to 5 years. And I just have to continue working. This morning, we got up this morning, and he's pushing me more now. Because, you know, I'll be 50 years old this year. So I don't have time to, every day is going to count for me,
Right.
per se.
And you know, you think about the women who, for us, think about the women that's not even being exposed to direct sales or what we do until they're in their 50s. You know, so they never even knew that there was a way that they could do something like this to have residual income versus just the paycheck that's you know, stays the same and that kind of thing. So would anybody else have any thoughts?
Let me read this from one of my consultants that was
Okay.
on the call. She texted this to me after the call hung up. She said, that was awesome. I have done, she was saying she texted Nate, and I do understand that by texting him, we are participating in his strategy to widen his area of influence. Okay, that was that night. So that next morning, this is what she said the next morning. She said, I woke up and my head is so full of ideas. I got a potential business partner after eating crabs together yesterday. I am so excited. She's a go-getter, and I can see it coming together. And we'll talk.
Awesome.
So it shifted her mind. Because
Right.
her goal is to retire. She's a school teacher, but she don't want to go back to school this season.
Right.
So she knows she got to get into this business, and she couldn't make it tonight because she's going to South Carolina. But she will be here next week. She's excited.
Awesome.
She's excited.
Awesome.
Wow. You know, question about from a spousal standpoint. Had your husband, how has he been as far as supportive with you, and did you see a shift as a result of the call? And if so, how did it make you feel?
Well, I'm grateful to say he was supporting from day one. But now the shift is making sure I stay on track. Because we talked about being 65 as a national, you will have to retire. So you can do the math. 50, 65, that's not far.
Thank you.
Wow. Awesome. Anybody else?
I just want to say, based on the call Sunday, I always thought everything was okay with me. I don't need more than what I have. My kids are grown. I have a home that's paid for. I don't have that bills. But when you think about it, I said to myself, after getting all these principles, what's happening to the women out there that's just barely making it? Because if I think that I was okay, and I'm nowhere okay, what's happening to these ladies? And they need to know about this, and to see that we always talk to the younger people in Mary Kay. Get to the national position. That should be your main focus. Because I'm so excited that Andrea came to seminars, saw a bigger picture and where she is today. I don't have to worry about her retirement because she has a retirement plan, knowing that she doesn't have to fund into it. But people need to know about this book and know about, because I've met so many women who I'm okay. I have my 401k and I have money put away, but are you able to bless other people? And you have to have money in order to bless. And so it opens up my mind further and wider, knowing that I need to work more. I don't have time to waste. I can't be a national anymore, but I can be an executive. Elite executive, and there's no limit to where I can go as a sales director in this company. It was an awesome call.
How about you guys? Anybody over here?
I was going to say, I can tell you what the call did for me was affirm. Because you don't know, you think you're okay, and you never know when something can happen to change it all. So I had a 401k, I had a pension, I had invested a lot of my life in a horrible corporation, but I put up with them, and I always thought I had that. And then you have a personal tragedy like Michael's accident, and you just zero out.
Right.
So for the last 3 years, I've been starting from zero again. And I know somebody said it in shock today, but I'm 60. So last night's call, Sunday night's call was like, oh my gosh, do I have to get to work, and I have to get to work fast. Because I got to get to national position. You can extend and not retire till 70. Just I talked to seminar, to the people, our
You
people.
have to be a national by 65, by your 65th birthday,
Right.
and then you can.
And then you're leaving, because I also know that my child cannot take care of himself when I'm gone. So I have to do that for him, and that's a divine appointment. I don't care what anybody calls it. But no matter how comfortable you meet people out there and they think they are, it can change in a split second, and you are zero. And I really thought I was okay. I was happy. Andrew and I was just living life, having a great time. I was not, honoring God by doing what I should do, because I thought it was okay. And I was okay. But now I'm going to be better. That's all. So the people out there, the women out there they have no idea. They're not okay.
Right, no, they're not okay.
It's what is that? They're mistaken. They're living in disbelief. So thank you. You affirmed everything that I knew I needed. But I did get from the call is to have a plan. When you have a plan, then you can make anything happen. So,
Wonderful.
I wanted to say that it's all profound for me, because I wasn't looking for Mary Kay. And when National, she talked about retirement, and that's what got my eye, because I'm already an entrepreneur. So when he got on the call, and actually before then, when we were at seminar, and National said, she was reading excerpts out the book, I was like, oh my God, he's smart. That was my first thing. I was like, he's smart. And so for me, I don't know what everybody else ticks off, but I get a high off of smart people.
Oh, Jesus.
And so everything's coming together, because my husband, he's up for chief. He's about to go on shore duty, and I got 3 years to make national. And what that does for me is that shore duty means that he's not going out to sea.
Right.
He said, baby, run with this business. And so everything is just lining up the way that it was supposed to go. And I ain't have nothing to do with it. I got to give it all to God.
Right.
But at the same time, I'm so glad that I was in position, and I accepted the Mary Kay opportunity from National, her the retirement, and then to have the wealth building on top of it.
Right.
It's all good.
Yeah, it's all
It's all
good.
good.
It's all good. It's all good.
Awesome.
Very good.
Anybody?
Okay.
Oh, me. To me, it's more
Banker.
Yes. Being like at the 30 age and working in the bank, and it's just an eye opener, because I'm looking at other people's accounts and just working with the coworkers. And actually, one girl said this before the call. She was talking about her retirement, and she told me the amount, and I'm looking at her like, that's not enough. That's not enough. Whatever amount is never enough, because something like Ms. Carol said, it can happen in a twinkle of an eye. Like the situation with me, my husband in Guam, something happened, and it took me a while, but I'm glad Mary Kay came into place. So if anything like this happened, I'm prepared. Just short term and long term. And a lot of young people my age They don't think in the long term. They just want a short-term satisfaction and just cannot make the sacrifice to do it. So that's it's just enough for me.
You know, with what she just now said, one of the things I'll give you, I said, imagine if you were to make a trip from Florida to, say, New York, and you get on 95 and you run into all that traffic. There's a bad accident and it's backed up. And someone passes by with a bicycle and they're riding on with the bicycle. And you decide to get out of your car on 95, backed up in traffic because you see someone else whizzing by you. You get out of the car, you sell your car, and you grab a bicycle. You keep on heading towards New York. That's probably not really smart, is it? Mm-hmm. Well, see, that's what happens with people on a regular, everyday basis as it relates to investing. That's true. As it relates to investing in this business. Mm-hmm. They will make a short-term decision for a long-term journey.
Very true.
It's true. Mm-hmm. I'd like to add something to that. I invested money, and I had a financial advisor. And after the call on Sunday night, the couple, when the lady said that she, her and her husband wanted to be biblical, and they wanted to leave an inheritance for their children's children. And that's why I went, and consulted with a financial advisor, and that was over 5 years ago. And that financial advisor gets a commission from me every month, and he has never told me what I learned on that call on Sunday. Mm-hmm. And so with that being said, I thought I had it all together. I thought that even if my husband were, like they said, there are 3 things that a woman may experience in life: death, divorce, and the loss of a job. And I came pretty close to those experiences. And I thought I had it all together because I had a financial advisor who diversified, had a portfolio, everything lined up. But when I looked at the numbers, they were nowhere near the numbers that we added up on Sunday night. Mm-hmm. So now I have to go back and find out. She said he's already done, right? He's gone. But now I have to come up with a new plan, and I only have 9 years to get it done.
And what you just now communicated is the differentiation. So if there's anything I want you all to be able to communicate with anyone else out there, is that you have someone that's telling you what the bankers and brokers don't tell you. Someone that went into the business after making his first million and went because I used to get cold called by people, and I used to ask 2 questions. Question 1 was, would you mind sharing with me your personal financial statement? And 2 was, would you mind sharing with me your personal financial plan? And the thing is, I didn't care about how much money they had. That wasn't the test. I really just wanted to see what their thought process was. Because see, as a military person, I was used to delegation. I can delegate. I know how to spot check. I know how to supervise. You don't have to have the same that I have. I just need to know you're smart enough to do the part that when I delegate, you can bring me back good information so I can then make a sound decision. We can go back and forth. Because smart people want to surround themselves with smart people. Mm-hmm. You want to have someone that's not allowing you to do dumb things, that can reflect back to you, right? And so the decision of me going into the financial world was after my daughter Nadia was born, to get back closer to Savannah, which is home for me. I accepted the position going to the field because I knew I had to be in there for 3 years to sit for the CFP. And I also wanted to see exactly what was going on behind the doors. I wanted to see if they were just salespeople or if they're actually financially educated. And so what's exciting is that I'm no longer licensed. I no longer practice. I'm out now teaching people what the bankers and brokers don't tell you, because you got to understand, there might be some great people out there doing what they do, but that's their job. And their job is assets under management. Your little piece every month isn't getting you to where you want to get to, but all together it's getting those companies and them to where they need to get to. Right. Okay? So you got to understand that's it. So yeah, that's the deal. So I thank you for sharing that reality, because that's the differentiation. If you want to ever tell someone what's different about this Nate Scott, he's a fun. Nah, He's the guy that's teaching me those things that nobody else is teaching me. He's the one that's teaching us what no one's. And that, I want to celebrate your national because she wrote that out when I asked her what stood out about it. She says, nobody's teaching what you're teaching. So.
She's been trying.
I've been trying with my limited knowledge. I can't. 1, 2.
That's all you need.
They know I can't even count, but I got good enough sense to know that something's missing. You know what I'm saying? And I know good stuff when I see it. And you guys know that I do not bring people here. And people that are outside of our pink bubble, I don't bring people in. I don't say, you know, buy this thing or get this system or whatever. I don't do that. This was absolutely necessary.
Yes, I totally
It was
agree.
necessary
I
because
totally agree.
we've been in the dark for too long. And in this company, the dream company that allows us to do whatever we want to do and make as much and go as far as we, with this knowledge and this company, what? Are you kidding me? Oh, it's on there.
It's on.
It's on. It's on. Anybody else before we? You good?
No, I can say
Okay.
something. What I got from the call on Sunday night was just that there needs to be a sense of urgency. And while I was writing down the answers to the 7-question piece, I just started thinking about my own 401k. And I'm just trying to crunch the numbers here. And I believe in being completely transparent, but I've been on my job for 7 years. And I have like $55,000 in my 401k. So I'm 32 years old. I said I wanted to retire at 65, so that gives me 33 years. And I just tried to keep doubling 7 by 7 by 7 and just trying to figure out where I would be by the time I retire. And it's nowhere near where I need to be at that 2.4 million. And so I wanted to have the $10,000 a month. That's where I want to be comfortable. So it's all about having a plan of action, getting the knowledge and the tools to be able to build that massive bank account. So you have to have a plan of action, but you have to have that plan with urgency. And so because I'm 32, I still feel like 32 is very young, but that time is going to come just like that. It's going to go by just like that. So I have to have a plan of action with urgency. So that's what I got from the call on Sunday.
And the other thing too is, Celine, at 32, being single, you're not married, you don't have any children. So that 10,000 may turn into 20,000 once your life starts to change.
Right.
And your family starts to expand and broaden. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, yeah. Sense of urgency. Everybody gets an answer.
There you go.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So what do you want to say to anyone that's not here tonight that about getting here next week? You know, what you experienced tonight that actually says
You gotta be here.
You gotta be here.
Leaders don't miss nothing.
That's right.
Yeah.
And future leaders.
Right.
Yeah. If you are a leader, if you've been called to lead, you need to be here.
And if you need a ride, just call. We're here.
No excuses.
No excuses. Yeah. And bring your family members, your friends, family members, your customers. I mean, we have space. We're gonna pack it out. We got to do whatever we have to do. We have to help the people to get the information.
So got to do something different.
Quickly.
Skype and hang out with you.
Yeah.
Skype. Yeah.
all right. Well, ladies, I want to thank you for your time.
you.
Thank you for your open heart and sharing what you've shared. This was very exciting, and looking forward for us together really disrupting this whole space.
Yeah.